What's going on, guys? It's Matt at Performance Fab. Hope everybody's doing all right. I know it's rough here in South Carolina. It's hot as crap. It's about 95 today. No AC in here, so we're just hanging in there trying to get as much done as we can. Passing out. Wanted to show this car we've been working on for a little while now. It's Shawn Roll Tide Lewis's 63, I think, Chevy 2. Met Shawn a couple years ago at Devin's first, I think it was his first Southeast Street Meet race. Shawn was there racing this thing. It had a LS with twin turbos in it at the time, and he ran it for a while like that. Went to a few LS fests, some other drag and drives. I think he ended up hurting that engine and was wanting to upgrade. I mean, he more or less asked Devin for all the contacts and who he needed to talk to get the same combination he had in the Big Earn convertible Mustang. So Devin basically put him in touch with Scott at Par. Scott built him a big block Chevy. I think this one's a 588, all aluminum, Brodix blockheads. She has a couple of, let me see, HPT. I think these are 88s. Super nice setup. So we went with the big block Chevy twin 88s paired with a Rossler 3-speed 400 lockup transmission. Combination that should really go pretty fast in this combo, especially compared to the LS combo that was in there. He brought it to us to more or less get the engine, get everything in here and fabbed up to get it to Devin to wire and plumb this thing. So if you're not super familiar with these early Novas, early Chevy 2s, they're pretty short, pretty pug nose cars. I got this fender off so I can kind of show you a little bit more. We're still wrapping this thing up. We got a few little things left to do. We're just getting the cable drive for the methanol system hooked up and where that runs right. We got to get finished putting the front end on. Just a few little odds and ends, a couple brake lines, things we had to do. But like I said, he brought this thing to us. Basically everything in it minus the LS engine. All the wiring was in it, everything was in it, EFI. So we had to disassemble this thing and take it apart and see what kind of space we were actually working with to try to get this engine in here, because just pulling basic dimensions off of front and back from the back of the block to the front of the mandrel, it was not going to fit. So we ended up pulling the front end off of it. So again, if you're not super familiar with Chevy 2s, the factory suspension and all bolts, you kind of can see here, there's a 3-bolt flange at the top on both sides, and then you're not going to be able to see the bottom because of the turbos, but there's a 4-bolt flange at the bottom, and there's a few aftermarket companies make aftermarket suspensions that bolt to the factory place. This is a Smith Racecraft setup that he already had, but we knew we were going to have to move the Firewall when he brought this thing to us, because the Firewall usually is to this plate, and then it also extends out here and then goes back to here. So all this is taken up as well. So we knew there was no room to get turbos in the front of this. There's just no room in front of the engine. There's just very, very little space. So we knew we were going to pull it out at least to make room for the engine to fit, and then we had to clip the Firewall on the outside here in front of the A-pillar and taper it back just so we'd have room for the turbos and downpipes and hot side and all to squeeze in there. But we found that created a lot of work, so because we had to undo the brake pedals, undo the gas pedal, remake or modify the steering column. That's in there. This thing's got a aftermarket bolt-in style steering column with a factory wheel on it. It's like driving a Magic school bus. It's humongous, big fluffy seats. But yeah, we finally got all the Firewall cut out, moved back. I think we got it back almost 3 inches, right under 3 inches, which was enough to get this engine to slide in there. Got the outside corners boxed in and tapered off so we'd have room to get the turbos mocked up. We got them mounted up. I mean, this is tight. There is no spare room. It actually laid out very cleanly for as small a space there is. Got the turbos mounted kind of in the back here, back corners. Header's basically plumbed straight into the bottom of the turbos. Very short, very small amount of hot pipe off of the collector. It's hard to see. I'll lift this thing up, kind of look under the bottom a little bit, but on top of it already being tight, it's also a dry sump engine, so we had to squeeze a dry sump tank in here, 5-stage dry sump pump. It's just not an abundance of space in these cars. They're gorgeous cars, but they're not easy to package all this, especially in this kind of stock trim. Would have liked to move the Firewall back more just to make even more space, but with it already having a cage in it, I think this one's a 25.2, 25.3. Look, you can't move the seat back, and just there's not enough room to shift the pedals back any more than what we did. Because we had to do a new brake pedal setup, master cylinders inside, new throttle pedal. Got all that working, got it all laid out pretty well. All the little stuff, got throttle rods. I mean, you can even see, I mean, there's very little space in between the throttle body and the radiator. I mean, there's no room to move the radiator forward in these things. But we got it squeezed in there. Well, Shawn's billet intakes are gorgeous, but they do hang off the way the throttle body hangs off the front, pushes them out a lot. Same setup we did in Graham's car. Basically same engine, same intake. Real similar setup, but his is a tube chassis, so it's got a little more space, and the Firewall was not a problem. It was moved way back in that car, so we didn't have to fool with any of that. But we've done a lot to this thing. I'll forget a lot of it. In the future, I'll try to start doing these little videos a little more as I go, just so I don't overlook so much stuff. So moved the Firewall, redid the Firewall, got the engine plates in, turbo, headers, hot side, cold side, down pipes. I'll lift it up so you can kind of try to see the wastegate plumbing and headers from the bottom side. So this thing's going to Devon next, so we had to make electronics panels, mount new battery box, battery, all the whatever all's going in this. We'll try to give him plenty of space to work with. We also, Shawn wanted to add a sheet metal wing. We got one from Racecraft, and then he asked me if I needed dual chutes. I said, it's probably a pretty good idea. This thing's going to roll, especially running through the quarter mile. I think it went 180 to the quarter with the LS setup. I said, man, this thing can go 180 to the 8th mile now, so might better add that. So we put him a dual chute setup. Had to redo it, make a new hitch. Got to get all that stuff to Jake Tinsley. He powder coated the rest of the parts up front so he can powder coat those things. He got some dual air launcher chutes from Devon Simpson Air Boss. Nice setup. They're actually pretty light. Devon's a dealer for these guys. If y'all need some chutes, I'd be the person I would send you to. Let's see, let me go around and lift this thing up. Yeah, like I said, we got to clean the inside out still, but you can see that factory steering wheel, big seats, got the vent windows. It's hard to beat those in the old cars, get that direction there. All right, let me lift this thing up so we can kind of look under the bottom a little bit. try to get this camera in here to see. I mean, it's tight. I mean, it was super. We had to rework the steering shaft. I mean, it's a job getting that thing past the header, past the 5-stage dry sump pump. But as you can see, it comes off the header, snakes around. I mean, like I said, it's very little piping to it. It's got these Turbo Smart 60s. We got them recirculating into the downpipe. I'll go to the other side. I got the fender off on that side so you can see it a little better. But I mean, you can see it's snug in here. There's the dry sump pump, mandrel, got the alternator. Still got to figure out the cable drive for the methanol pump. I don't know. I'm either going to try to squeeze another drive on this side where we got a little bit of open space, or I'm going to get the hex drive to go on the back of this dry sump pump. I just don't know if it's going to fit with the steering shaft where it's at. See a little better over here. It's a tight squeeze. It's just not a, yeah, here's that 4-bolt flange I was talking about. I mean, literally you take top and the bottom off and this whole front suspension will come off of these cars. We went ahead and built some belly pans for him. Chassis wise, besides, I mean, we didn't have to really do any chassis work on this thing. We had to modify the trans cross member because we moved the engine back, like I said, about 3 inches, and then it's a lockup, so it's 1 inch longer, so the trans mount's about 4 inches further back than it was. Like I said, it's got a rossler 3-speed lockup, got a Cameron's converter. Still got to get all that bolted up. That's super nice setup, but I mean, it's a nice chassis. It's still a leaf spring car, buggy springs as I call them. There's been quite a few cars go really fast on these things. Had to put a Earl's transcooler back here. There's no room in the front. Like I said, he's got a stainless pump gas tank on the bottom here. Methanol tank is in the trunk. Burn down tanks in the trunk. Finally getting on the home stretch of this thing, ready to see it go down the road. Like I said, it'll be looking forward to this one. Devin's going to wire it up, plumb it, and should be headed back to Shawn here soon. Thanks guys for checking it out. Until next time, like I said, I'll try to break these down a little better in the future. I'm definitely an amateur at this deal, so just kind of learning as I go, so just bear with me as I try to get this deal figured out. Thanks guys, see y'all.